Hey, it's Ann from Ann Moyer Singing, and I wanted to talk a little bit about Appoggio breathing or abdominal breathing or diaphragmatic breathing. There's a lot of different ways that a teacher might refer to it. And I'm seeing a bunch of folks asking questions about their understanding of it and with varying levels of accuracy. Who or what's right? And in my view, a lot of teachers have got parts of a bigger system that goes back to classical opera's Appoggio, which is a system of, though sometimes old schoolers refer to it as belly breathing. And that there's a lot of parts of it which will work just fine to sing off of. But there's more than one way to describe it. And that sometimes this leads to some differences in views. Normally, like I said, you only run into the whole system in opera training because it requires it to pull off the style. You couldn't do some of the things that they do in a big room without that kind of breath. So I also want to say that when you're trying to teach somebody something like this, everybody's body feedback and body control is different. A teacher will give you a lot of references to their movements to try and get you to replicate the parts you need to do the breathing or any of our special aspects, really. And they're just acting as a guide. So they may try different things to try and help you find out how you can access these movements. There's no one right visualization. And at the end of this, it's not just one visualization that you're trying to execute. It's not just one movement. It's an assembly of movements all together to do it right. So what does this kind of breathing accomplish? Well, quite literally, this breathing control method removes kind of an quality background from your singing, which is present in your speaking voice. It also serves as a control for a dynamics and power level of your singing. And it provides a ton more efficiency, which allows for more singing time on a breath, like you need in opera. The only problem is that it's a very different set of movements than the ones that you use when you speak. And most people start by making their speaking voice melodic. You use the same mechanisms, they just hold the sounds for longer. So how does the operatic system, the Appoggio system, work? In general, we are keeping the rib cage slightly expanded, but in a static state. We're not letting it participate in respiration overmuch. When we inhale, we drop the diaphragm down, and then at a certain point, like the ribs, we hold it in place in a static position. None of this is really stiff. It's just still. And these two steps create a fixed size tank of air out of your chest. Then we create pressure on the pelvic floor and the lower abs. And this pushes against your holding the diaphragm in place. And this is Appoggio, to lean. This is the lean. And the oppositional force is what drives the air. And the amount of tension determines the amount of power that you're getting from your sound. So this is easier said than done. When I have to teach this to people, a lot of times I have to do this in steps. And the steps that have to get taught are, first, show them how to hold the proper rib shape. That's actually pretty simple. Basically, if you're a dancer, you hold your arms out in front of you in a ring, elbows at the same level, and your chest will kind of be expanded and out a little bit. Just keep that and rest your arms. Another way to do it is lean back against a wall so your whole spine is straight up against it, including your shoulders, straight shoulders back. And that'll expand it ever so slightly, and you just kind of leave it there. The next step is learning how to breathe with just the diaphragm and not moving the ribs, getting out of the habit of moving them and let the diaphragm do the work. The diaphragm can pull down and relax. That's all it's capable of doing. So when you exhale, you will have to use a little bit of compression to do that at first, because you just basically relax the breath out. You're not able to really squeeze and exhale like you would otherwise. Then you have to learn to inhale downwards and then suspend the diaphragm. Hold your breath by not moving air anymore. Don't let it come in or out. You should feel when the air stops moving. And then once you can do that, there's a kind of breathing exercise called Farinelli breathing, which basically helps to train your rectus abdominis band of muscles that hold one down the front of your body to move in a supple fashion and be able to do this abdominal breathing in a smooth, regular fashion. Now, you can sing off of the Farinelli breathing process. Part of that, on the exhalation, they want you to do it either with lip trills or with a hiss. But if you can do it on lip trills and you can do it on a hiss, you can sing with it. And it works okay for microphone singing. You can't use it in a big room that way. It doesn't have enough oomph. So the next piece, after you learn how to suspend the diaphragm, is to learn about how you operate your particular set of pelvic floor muscles. And the way everybody accesses this is a little bit different. So that's kind of a one-on-one sort of thing. But once you learn how to create that pressure, some people will talk about like passing gas or squeezing their butt or other things like that, which are not necessarily accurate. They generate pressure, but it's really like you're exerting. For me personally, it's like the bottom of the exit of my body is like a surface of a trampoline, and I'm taking my finger and I'm pushing downwards into that space. And it's like right down to the floor. And I do that, and air comes out and sound comes out. So you then assemble the parts, and then that's how you always breathe to sing. There's other things you add later, which involve the upper half of your body, about how to keep your jaw and tongue out of the way and relaxed, how to keep your throat open but not stretched and distended and sounding artificial, how to activate and, and open up and allow the access to all of the sinus spaces and stuff using learning how to operate with a closed soft palate, lots of things like that that help you breathe inwards and then fire the air out as almost kind of like a single motion. And that's the end result. So in any event, as a bel canto teacher, that is my understanding of Appoggio breathing. I hope that's helped you get a better understanding of what is being talked about. As always, if you have any questions, let me know. I'll be happy to answer. Peace.